Got some skeletons in my foot locker. Eye open, I know God not the only one watching. Under fire, smoke in the air, wiggle through madness. Hands full, it's getting hard just to carry the baggage. I smoke this weed thinking how these bitches burn too. Alone with my thoughts like who the fuck I turn to.
Yeah. We back with another episode of Free Play Radio. That was Ozer, Purposeful. But today we got Dregs 1 in the building.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good, brother. Thank you for having me out here.
Nah, I appreciate you for pulling up.
Off top.
How was the day today?
It's Monday, so we got to get to it. Another week starting off. Got a lot of things lined up, so I'm just busting plays all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's get into it. Dregs 1, where you from? And I got to ask, what brought you to music?
Well, it's kind of the same answer, actually, to both questions, because I come from San Francisco, and Lakeview is the neighborhood I grew up in, Randolph Street, to be exact. And if you know about that neighborhood, it has a long musical tradition. This is the home of Coog Nut and IMP, Selsky, and many other rappers. So that was the soundtrack to what I was seeing outside of my house every day. Mm-hmm. And in addition to the graffiti, just hopping on the bus.
Definitely.
And it was just basically the soundtrack. And I just grew up listening to the radio, listening to the Wake Up Show, recording tapes, trying to freestyle. Eventually, I heard Too Short's Freaky Tales, mm-hmm. and I started making Freaky Tale raps about all the girls in school.
How old was you?
About 14.
Okay. That's like a legitimate age.
Yeah.
You probably was trying to get into something.
I was trying.
Okay. So where does the name Dregs 1 come from?
It comes from graffiti. I went through a lot of different aliases. I got caught a couple times, so every time you get caught, it's a good idea to change your name so they don't have you on record. So I think I was watching Scarface, and in the beginning it talks about how Castro sent all the Cuban refugees on a boat, and the text said he sent the dregs of his jails. I was like, that's kind of a hard name. And for graffiti, the letters were clean, DREGS. Mm-hmm. So I got caught for that name too.
Yeah.
But by then everybody was calling me Dregs, so it just stuck.
Okay, so you mentioned graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
How did graffiti art impact your childhood, and just how do you use that artistic expression and apply it to your music? Because you are a producer as well as a rapper.
Yes, sir. I mean, it impacted like every part of my childhood because I was obsessed with graffiti. San Francisco is like a mecca for the graffiti scene. We had some of the greatest artists in the world come from here and come through here. So it was just on my mind 24/7 trying to get up. And it fit perfectly into the world of hip hop. And I kind of took that same approach to my music in terms of like just trying to get up everywhere, really heavy on the street promotion with the flyers and the posters and the stickers. And then just taking that same artistic approach in terms of my style and my skill. And it really just goes hand in hand to me.
Okay, that's beautiful. I want to get into a record.
Yes.
It's called Who Do You Run To?
Okay.
And it has R.I.P. Jacka in
right.
parentheses. Can
That's
you
right.
explain the concept behind that record and, what was the inspiration?
Yeah, I was living in Sacramento at the time, going to school at UC Davis, going to law school actually, and I was dipping into the city, and it was kind of tripping me out because there was a lot of killings going on at the time. And I went to the studio with that.
I've been trying to get it. Stay down, stay solid, stay level-headed. Every loss I came across made me a boss. I found my way while others still feeling lost. Cocaine, smoking rock, snorting hop, pushing poison on another inner city block. At the crossroads with the lost souls. Total pole, leave you stiff like a totem pole. I touched down in my city and it's gentrified. These hipsters ain't knowing nothing about a homicide. But in my neighborhood, man, it's still popping off. Black folks ain't safe when you call the cops. Barbecue Becky, fuck around and get you cooked. Cause it ain't nothing but these honkies everywhere I look. PTSD is the diagnosis. Demons on my mind, but I gotta stay focused. Who do you run to, run to, run to? When it's all bad, who can you turn to, turn to, turn to? On your last chance, want alone, die alone. Gotta get it on your own. Boy, you gotta be a man. The city made me a sad. What happened to the world? Rest in peace, Jacker. He had a voice that made me wanna be a rapper. We was in the lab blowing blunts and bumping beats. He told me keep it up, boy, cause you got heat. Later on I heard the news, he got shot down. But that happens all the time on my side of town. Regardless of the drama, man, I gotta keep it lit. And hold on to the things that made me wanna spit. I'm OG now, far from a junior. Moving from my past now, focus on the future. Living for the music, trying to push a movement. Never could I fall off, all about improvement. Build a resolution, start a revolution. Caught up in confusion, shaking the illusions. Think about your movements, can't be acting foolish. Life is very precious, can't afford to lose it. Who do you run to, run to, run to? When it's all bad, who can you turn to, turn to, turn to? On your last chance, want alone, die alone. Gotta get it on your own. Boy, you gotta be a man. The city made me a sad.
You know, I'll make it happen for myself, though. I'm not gonna just, go around trying to just happy.
Hey, Talk, we gotta tell them how this game go. I user on the city in a GT coupe. Got repossessed, I was hurt. I quit my job, I was working. Invested in myself, I was certain. Knew that I would blow. Took a risk, 5K into a show. Lost 1,500 at the door. So, see when you a boss is how it go. Bitch, I lost everything but hope. Talk about growth. In the deep end, tryna float. Feel like I'm in the snow without a coat. Nigga, you ain't know. This is the type of shit they don't show when there's only 5 people at your show. What would you do? I was backstage turning blue in the face cause I let down the crew. Let down the who? You can only let down you. Take notes, I'ma tell you what to do. Pick yourself up, dust that shit off your shoulders. Get yourself together, you the closer. Breathe, gain your composure. Bitch, it ain't over till it's over. I used to roam the city in a GT coupe. Ay, got repossessed, I was hurting. Yeah, I quit my job, I was working. Invested in myself, I was certain. Knew that I would blow. Took a risk, 5K into a show. Lost 1,500 at the door. So, see when you a boss, that's how I go. Bitch, I lost everything but hope.
Look, take a couple losses just to cherish a win. Feel like you drown until you learn how to swim. Took the last that I had and invested it in. I got faith in my hustle, I invested again. I put 7 in the merch, 15 in the stocks. Still a couple pickles up, put them in the box. They ain't wanna let us in, we start picking the locks. Work smarter, not harder, how you get to the top. Shooting high percentage shots, let me get to my spot. Make sure your T got a cross and your I got a dot. Get a team that believe, put the price in the pot. Stay cool under pressure, live life on the rocks. And they
used to run the city in a GT coupe. Ay, got repossessed, I was hurting. Yeah, I quit my job, I was working. Invested in myself, I was certain. Knew that I would blow. Took a risk, 5K into a show. Lost 1,500 at the door. So, see when you a boss, that's how I go. Bitch, I lost everything but hope.
Yeah. We back with another episode of Free Play Radio. Shout out All In Radio. Shout out Troy LLF in the building. Shout out Burns. But today we got Dregs 1 in the building.
Yes.
So I got to ask you, man, what is the driving force in pursuing this dream we call music or just entrepreneurship in general?
That's a good question. I mean, really, you go through certain stages as an artist, like we was talking about when I'm a kid, and you just love it. You just enjoy rapping. Um, at a certain point, though, you explore other options. Like, I've been working since I was 14. I've done all types of jobs, but really, I don't love anything else more than the music, and it costs money.
Man,
Just like the song we was listening to just now was talking about, man, you got to put up racks to do this. And when you're really willing to risk it all and you're really willing to go all in and you stop caring about what other people got to say and you have full, complete confidence in yourself, it's another level of freedom. So to be able to wake up in the morning and do whatever I want to do and bust my own plays and try to make this happen is like, it's the best feeling in the world. So that's ultimately why I do it. And then, like you said, entrepreneurship, like I take this seriously as a business. I do everything proper. I got all my LLCs registered. I pay my taxes. You know what I'm saying? I do my legal work as well. And when you treat it like a business, you get business-like results. You know what I'm saying?
And then to touch on that, as an independent artist that may be listening, how important is it to treat the music like a business and not just be so focused on the creativity? Because sometimes the creativity is the easiest part. Like it's the most fluid.
Right.
And then with the business side of it, you kind of hit those roadblocks.
Well, we're from the Bay Area, so we're from the place where rappers were CEOs at the same time. And we come from a legacy of artists that were grinding on an independent level before anybody else. And it's the most important thing, man. Like, honestly, I don't really rock with artists that don't take themselves seriously in that capacity. Just have to really tighten it up, man, and you have to look at every single thing you do as a play to get you closer. It's not about the money necessarily, but it has to be about getting you closer to the point that you want to go. So I don't go in the studio just to have fun and party. I go in the studio and I don't just make songs to get something off my chest. Like I go in there and think of how am I going to sell this song after. That doesn't mean I'm like a capitalist, like I only care about the money, I'll do anything. Nah, it just means that it got to work out. I'm investing all this time and all this money and all this effort, and it's got to come back to me.
No, definitely. So you speak, in going to the studio and creating, how would you describe your sound?
Well, I'm a real hip-hop head, so, as I mentioned, like the Bay Area is probably the biggest influence. That sound has always spoken to me the most. But at the same time, like I've been heavy influenced by like the East Coast stuff and the classic records. So I really like to spit, and I like to use the wordplay, and I like to really flow over the beat. I can do different styles. I can do like boom bap, sample MPC type beats, or I could just do mob synthesizer heavy bass. But at the end of the day, like I'm an MC, so I'm a rap cat. So whatever I can flow on, whatever I can bust on, that's what you're gonna hear me on it. And I'm a performer too. I love to perform, so I try to focus my recording process on making things that I can actually go out and perform.
Right. So making the things that's gonna sonically sound well.
Yeah, man. I mean, and a lot of it is like about the women too, man. Because if she ain't shaking it, you ain't making it.
Nah, I agree to that.
Yeah, you a DJ, so you already know.
I already know.
Part. Yeah.
So as far as your influences growing up, I mean, you mentioned a few in the beginning of our interview, but who were like your biggest influences growing up and that you applied to the music, whether it be like people that created or maybe in your personal life that may have directed you in to a certain space?
Yeah, I mean, all my friends, like, I came from a group called Gas Mask Colony back in the day, and we were, like, heavy on the same tweak. Like, we would just listen to Mac Dre all day, and, I was a big Tupac head, too. And but we would always be on this quest to, like, dig in for, like, this rare music that nobody else had, whether it was RBL Posse or Freestyle Fellowship or some random Wu-Tang records. So those, like, my friends really inspired me on that. They really put me on. And then, outside, like, I listen to everybody in the Bay, but outside of that, I mean, like I said, I'm a big Wu head. I really love Redman. A lot of the East Coast greats inspired me as well.
Okay, I gotta ask, just being from the West Coast, what is it about West Coast and East Coast that you can differentiate in words?
I think we're more influenced by funk out here. Maybe that's because a lot of our families have closer ties to the South and that migration that happened in the last century, whereas New York, a lot of people were already up there for a while. I think also we have a big car culture out here. You know, New York and some of those other cities, they're on the train, they're on the subway, or they're hopping out of taxi cabs. So we like something that's going to make the trunk pound and something that you can cruise around to. And then also just the weather, too, that Cali sunshine. Like, I think that's something that fits into our style as opposed to, like, you know, big project towers with snow falling on them and stuff. That's kind of like that Mobb Deep Nas sound.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's probably about it.
Okay, for sure. I like that explanation.
But I will say, like, there's not that much, like, I don't believe in the separation. Because we got cats like Souls of Mischief out here that sample their beats. And, you know, we got a lot of spitters out here, too. So it's really all hip-hop.
Okay. Okay, for sure. So I want to get into another record. It's called Downtown.
Okay.
Is it off the Corner Store Poetry?
That's right.
What was the concept behind this record, and what was the concept behind the album Corner Store Poetry?
That concept of the album is just basically, you know, it's about my experiences in the city, like, and kind of like I was saying, there's some music you could really ride to. The song Downtown is like a typical night for when I really go all out with my partners, and just I wanted to capture that feeling of when you really turned up on a mellow tip though, but like, you know, just some things that only city cats would understand, like,
right.
Like sipping Mai Tais in Chinatown, and you know, drinking beer on the pier, and you know what I'm saying, popping your mouthpiece at some work. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to encapsulate in this song.
Okay, for sure. So let's get into this record. It's called Downtown by Dregs. Where can everyone follow you on social media, and how can they find your music?
On every platform, it's all Dregs1, DREGS_ONE, and it's the same spelling on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all those things.
Alrighty, let's get into it. Dregs1, Downtown, off his project Corner Store Poetry.
Downtown, hopping on the underground, yeah, we on the 100 now, moving on the come up now, running back, bass loud, going up the speakers back, turn it up, once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. Downtown, hopping on the underground, yeah, we on the 100 now, moving on the come up now, running back, bass loud, going let the speakers pound, guarantee I turn you out, once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. Late night, living in the fast lane, hit the dance floor like a hurricane, smelling like Cartier. Fine as hell, should've been a first name. How she working her frame? Need a handy shot for liquid courage, man. Never that, you know we keeping game on deck. Shorty see we can't correct. Now we talking schedules, let's connect, represent. I'm coming back like I never left. I'm feeling blessed. I never brag, it's just the way it is. I'm never stressed. I want to find the things and nothing less for my success. I push a line just like a fountain pen. I'm writing scrolls under moonlight glow from the heart and soul. I spit the greatest story never told, but they don't hear me though. Knocking in my vehicle, turning up the stereo, grooving to the piano notes, do it to my burial, dipping through the avenues. I'ma serenade the city with the sounds that we produce. Downtown, hopping on the underground, yeah, we on the under now, moving on the come up now, running back, bass loud, going let the speakers pound, guarantee I turn you out, once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. Downtown, hopping on the underground, yeah, we on the under now, moving on the come up now, running back, bass loud, going let the speakers pound, guarantee I turn you out, once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. Midnight at the pier, light reflecting off the water, paint a vision so clear. We ain't thinking about tomorrow, where's some crack in the beer, liquid flowing out the bottle, mommy thinking the rear. She gon' shake it for $1, celebrating with folks while inhaling the smoke. They tried to tear us apart, but that's what made us so close. When we surviving the war, that hit us close to home. Like who's next to go, facing the great unknown. So I'ma shake the dice up like a blender, big spender. Only Scino's pick them 20s and them 10s up. Money don't impress us, someone might just strip you, homie. When you hear the walls howl, best to get to stepping, homie. Lead pole
montage, trying to tell my ties. Wise guy alibis, dotted line, dollar signs from the Hilton Suite. We gon' party till the sunrise, no sleep. Hit the streets, ready for another night. Downtown, hopping on the underground. Yeah, we on the under now, moving on the come up now. Running back, bass loud, rolling, let the speakers pound. Guarantee I turn you out. Once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. Downtown, hopping on the underground. Yeah, we on the under now, moving on the come up now. Running back, bass loud, rolling, let the speakers pound. Guarantee I turn you out. Once I toss it up, there ain't no coming back. No coming back.
Dregs, come on, man. IDM me on the beat. Let's do it. Don't keep it lit, man. Do it. I pull up on your bumper like a real one. Baby body banging like a steel drum. Put a footprints on my ceiling. Don't fight the feeling. That's right, on a high type for the evening. I'm a player type in the real way. Luxury apartment, bills paid. High grade, good game with the mind state. Haters mad cause I got them on a checkmate. Chestnut checkers and he playing Connect 4. Check up on the score, pedal to the floor. Mashing in my lane, campaign on tour. San Jose, Berkeley, Richmond, Hayward, Frisco, Oakland, Sacktown, Stockton. I'll be in the cut, see me turning up rockin'. Took a few L's, but I kept on mobbing. Did it by myself, so it's never been a problem. I'ma dip on ya. Nah, baby, don't trip when I dip on ya. One time, let's ride, then I dip on ya. Two times, let's slide for a dip on ya. On ya, on ya. I'ma dip on ya. Never seen something so sick till I dip on ya. Bounce out up and down the strip, watch me dip on ya. Turned up on ya. Lit as I dip on ya. Yeah. I'm the militant type. I spit on the mic, I'm mashing. Killing the mic, I chill when I ride, I'm lamping. Mommy gon' ride, she loving the vibe, she dancing. Took him down with a passion when she tapped in. Handsome and tall, 6'7". Your boyfriend ain't much competition. Listen, hear my voice pound through your system. The ladies feel the friction and haters feel the tension. I'm living in the city, known for pimping and pimping. Don't get us twisted for techies and hipsters. I hop in the Chevy and hit the ignition. If you not ready, blink and you miss it. Slide down Ocean Ave, yo, get fast. Dregs one, spit the gas, gift the gab. OG Frisco Sav, built to last. You might not understand, but this the plan. I'ma dip on ya. Nah, baby, don't trip when I dip on ya. One time, let's ride, then I dip on ya. Two times, let's slide for a dip on ya. On ya, on ya. I'ma dip on ya. Never seen something so sick till I dip on ya. Bounce out up and down the strip, watch me dip on ya. Turned up on hit lit as I dip on ya. On ya, on ya.
Yeah. Welcome back to Free Play Radio. That was Dip on You from Dregs 1. How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm glad you had me over here. I'm having fun.
Okay, dope to hear. I gotta ask you, what does it mean to be from San Francisco, and what is it, and not what is it, but do you feel like Frisco artists get the just due that y'all deserve?
Yes and no. I mean, the first part of the question, I mean, being from San Francisco is just having access to this culture that only exists in San Francisco, where you have Black, Asian, Latino, Filipino, Samoan, Arab. I mean, you have every type of person under the sun in a 7x7 mile radius. And, you know, we really are the Mecca. Like, you know, we're a historical place for skateboarding. We're a historical place for graffiti, for fashion, for theater, for art, for any type of culture you could imagine. So, you know, we really had this playground of, like, it was a crazy place, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. And everybody that grew up in there, you know, we all had access to all this, just stepping outside of our house. In terms of having the respect, I mean, there's definitely certain artists that have the respect or are getting the respect, but probably overall, I mean, even within the Bay, I think we get overlooked sometimes. And I think people just don't know, like even people from the Bay don't realize what San Francisco hoods are like, because they just go hop off BART and they go downtown, and that's all they really see. They don't, you know, there's no reason to go to a place like Sunnydale or Lakeview unless you know somebody that's from there. So I think there's still a lot of room for us to change that. But at the end of the day, it all depends on, you know, each person got to stand on their own and make this city look good, you know?
Okay. I feel like you are very just knowledgeable in hip-hop culture in the Bay Area, and not just hip-hop culture, but just culture in general. Where does that foundation come from, and where does that knack for learning? Is it, I mean, are you a student currently, or were you, you know, did you study like like history, or what is it that brought you to history and just being so knowledgeable?
I've definitely been a student. You know, I went to college and all that, but really, like, the way I grew up around like this community of young people is like being knowledgeable is like some player shit. Where like if you could put somebody up on something that they didn't know about, it was like, oh, okay, you kind of just got up on me, like, and it was all about like, yeah, you heard this song, but have you heard this? Yeah, you seen this movie, but have you seen this? And whoever, like, yeah, I seen that. It's like, oh, okay. It's like a kind of a competition type of thing. And just growing up around like my friends and their older brothers and their cousins, like we were always just kind of passing along this knowledge and information to each other. And I didn't realize at the time you're asking me this, like it's kind of a trip, but that is actually where I would say it stems from.
Okay, because I'm gonna be honest, like I've definitely seen your TikTok videos, just from your page, but then also from other outlets posting them as well. And I just feel like the educational piece behind it is very important, because we have a lot of kids growing up in the Bay Area that may not have access to that type of information just because it's just not Googleable, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like as artists and creatives, how did you land on, you know, being a historian on TikTok? Because a lot of people are trying to find a niche on TikTok. So how did you land on that, and how is that experience on TikTok and being able to engage with your supporters in the way you do?
Man, it's super dope. It's changed everything in a very short period of time. I mean, you know, these days as a musician, you're not gonna get people's attention based solely on your music. You have to have some type of other content, whether it's a vlog, whether it's fashion, whether it's comedy, whether it's a dance. And so for me, I just like all these things that we're talking about, like it just comes inherent to me. Like I've been walking around with all this knowledge, so I kind of just saw this like, I don't think anybody else is doing it. I saw people doing similar format videos for like sports or like just history overall. And I was like, man, let me just do this about what I know. And it's stuff I've been saying and communicating in my music, but for me to just break it down in a 60-second video that gets shared on a platform like TikTok where things spread like crazy, it just worked out perfectly, and it's introduced a whole new wave of people to me who are gravitating towards my music now because of what I represent by spreading this culture.
So they kind of get like the layers in a sense.
Yeah, or just like they look at me like, you know, just like I said, you got to get people's attention so people get interested. Like, oh, these videos are dope. Who is this guy? And then they kind of go naturally to gravitate towards my music or my videos. And it's all about just putting your personality on display. You know, a lot of people will do that in like try to troll or try to do some weird viral thing to go. So I just
stay true to yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just be myself on there.
Okay, so how important is creative control? Because you are an independent artist. How long have you been independent?
Oh, the whole time. I've had a couple label deals. Like I had a label in France, but they gaffled me.
What do you mean they gaffled you?
Well, they took all the money and never paid me nothing.
Damn.
And I tried to track them down, and they're all the way in France. Maybe I'll get them one day.
Maybe Karma will get them.
Yeah, Karma probably already did get them, but you know, for being an independent artist, I mean, that's where the business comes in again, because there's no big machine that's gonna plug you into all these platforms. Like you have to build your audience, and that's a lot of people get lost in the sauce trying to get on this platform or try to get another artist to know about them, and that don't matter. Like I connect directly with my fans, and I have a fan base. I'm blessed to have an actual fan base, and so I find ways to connect to them, whether it's pulling up at these events or pulling up in the streets, or just being really engaging with them on social media.
Yeah.
So, you know, as an independent artist, that you just have to have this foundation. So, you know, when you build it, the people will gravitate towards it.
Dope. I seen you out in San Jose for a show recently. How did that go for you?
Man, I love San Jose, bro. San Jose is like my second home now, bro. Like I get damn near more love out there than I do in Frisco, man. Shout out to all my people in San Jose.
Shout out San Jose.
The show was lit, man. Every time I go down there and I perform or I do something, like I make fans, like just easily.
Dope.
And it was dope. I had to. It was like in the mall. It was in a mall parking lot.
Oh man.
I had them all turned out. I had a car full of white boys peel off, bumping my music like, yeah, Dregs won.
And I know that feels good though, because we don't need the validation, but when you get it unexpectedly,
I mean, it ain't about the validation. It's more like, go spin that.
Yeah,
go spin that, and then go tell your friend what you just heard, and you know what I'm saying, and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm building a very organic fan base right now, and pulling up to places like San Jose, Stockton, Sacramento. That's all part of it.
Right. Okay, so I want to get into another record. It's a favorite of mine from you. It's called Player Move.
Right on.
You shot the video to that. What was the inspiration behind that record?
Man, I've been getting a lot of haters lately, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the successful.
It's a good thing, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys. So, like, this is kind of how I deal with them. I don't talk to them. I don't diss them. I just keep doing me, and I kind of want to give people the inspiration to do the same, no matter what you're going through or who's hating on you or whatever you're facing. Like, just, what I'm saying, get up, shake the dust off, and keep it pushing.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into it. Player Move by Dregs 1.
Yeah.
Free bar sauce, keep it real off top. For dollar bill stuff, kill into Ziploc. School got kicked out, friends got crossed up, tools got pulled out, fools got mopped up. I was down bad, coming to a crossroads. I was flat broke, all I wanted was a microphone. Walking through the Tenderloin, handing out change. Dope fiends tweaking, trying to find a good vein. The pain is only temporary, but when you bounce back, make it legendary. Any means necessary. Malcolm X on the quest, pigs on the power trip. They don't want us having shit, but we're never powerless. The young guy beat the odds, keep on keeping on. Many times I could've died, surviving made me strong. I got myself, I'm the only one I'm calling on. It's only bosses in the squad, that's I'm coming